And with that, we have already stepped into the draft itself. Team UT and Team Rayuga, they know each other so very well, especially since Daki was a member of Team Rayuga before this tournament, so she is
Yeah.
definitely very accustomed to the picks and bans coming out from those teams.
I do agree with you right there. They do know they're a little bit of macro and the micro gameplay that they have been knowing around. But again, from the side of Team Ryuga Esports, I do see a little bit of a new names coming in. Maybe they just, made sure that the substitutes joined in. So I'm curious to know what kind of gameplay that they are showing today. But at the same time, here we are with the bans, quite a meta bans being laid out on the table as of now. Not much to say about, but again, I want to see that Luke is getting banned.
Exactly. You quite mentioned that the Lucas is definitely ban worthy here. On the side of Untitled, though, we can see the Hayabusa and Kavia getting banned out right away, not wanting Visal or Chocolate Chan to pick up on those heroes because we know how good they are on those two specific picks. On the side of Rayuga, though, Fanny definitely getting banned out, and I do think they are going to ban out on the mid lane Jukshin or even the Hylos Salgado Kaja towards the EXP, or who knows, maybe even the Kimi could get banned out.
Highly possible. Highly possible from both the sides because both of the teams really love to push Akemi onto the mid lane. So, yep, that could be a very good ban coming in. But at the same time, we are looking at a Matilda. Now, the Matilda, very good. But I feel like somewhere along the lines, Team Ryuga Esports can prioritize a Matilda for themselves. Or maybe they're just looking forward for a little bit of a tanky composition. Or maybe, prioritizing a Katot Kacha this time.
Exactly, because we know that Joker, who plays Rome for UT, he is very comfortable on the setup tanks instead of the support heroes. So I think here he will once again be aiming for that drawhead, which we saw yesterday against Eternity, and how Team Untitled definitely went ahead for that reverse sweep, the score of 2-1, and won their first game in the wildcard stage. On the side of Rayuga, though, they have a clean streak so far, and today definitely they will be looking to continue it. But who knows? Team Untitled is completely the surprise element here.
Let's see if that's the case or not. But one last band already left. Is it the Suyu? Is it the Lucas? But no, that is something new that we weren't expecting. A Joy coming in. A Joy was highly unexpected right here, but at the same time, I believe that was much needed. The early game, a little bit of a hindrance is out of the table. That means that they could go ahead with a Lucas and possibly a Florin pick as well.
Exactly. It is quite viable here since Florian is definitely one of the priority picks in the room. But okay, Team Untitled decides to go in for the Badang, definitely one of the strongest EXP laners at the moment with those constant stuns and knockbacks, and obviously a very, very useful utility hero. Which does mean though, Team Rayuga can definitely pick up on a tanky side laner, maybe the Hylos or the Gadot Kacha, and of course there goes along with Lucas in the jungle.
What a picks coming in. Both the sides is looking quite fire. I'm loving the Gatot Kacha as well. Now it's all left for the high loss to be prioritized. Maybe out of the side of Team Untitled, they might be able to pick it up, but no, it is going to be a Valentina, one of the number one counter for this Lucas. Somewhere, along the lines, it does feels like a Valentina is always a forced pick against a Lucas.
Exactly. But then again, this is Daki on the Valentina, and yesterday she performed so stunningly well on that hero, actually being able to counter Eternity's Lucas and eventually winning out on that match. And even the Kimi in the mid lane against the Valentina. Or I do think that's the Kimi in the goal lane. What do you say, Peachy?
Goal lane Kimmy, a little bit of a suspect though. If this is pushed to the goal lane, one major thing about Kimmy is she can do it against a Harrod, but at the same time, I just it doesn't feel right in my theory. So again, they can go in for a physical kind of a marksman, maybe a Brody or maybe something like a Beatrix who does have the mobility. You just have to clear up the lanes, just got to move back, try to go in out, get the team fights. But back into the banning phase, it is going in quite fast. Look at that. Baksha getting banned, the Fredrin getting banned. The Raiwa esports were kind of like, having the thoughts that they might go in for the tank jungle.
Exactly. And if you notice, those are four jungle bands coming in from the side of Rayuga. So they are definitely respecting Kaimku here because he has been quite good on the jungle role for the side of UT. And as for the draft, like you were mentioning, yes, the Harith on that goal lane against the Gimme definitely a very strong choice because obviously you can't keep hitting the Harith once he uses up the Chrono Dash and the Zaman Force together at the same time, and he's gonna keep dashing everywhere. For the last band, though, I do think it is going to be the CC band. The CC band. That's kind of interesting because the God of Kacha is already there. But then again, let's see. But okay, it's quite justified since Visal can still go in for the high loss or even the glue, which is left open.
Oh, glue is definitely his signature pick, so maybe we may be able to look at it. But okay, Hylos is already here. One of the number one counter of, not exactly a counter, but a good combo that goes in together is like the Hylos and the Gatotkatsa, but this time they're on the opposite side, so definitely a surprising pick. But Team Rival Esports have opted for a Irithel against a Harrod. Now that's definitely surprising, but let's see if they're able to get it. But one more thing onto the side of Team Untitled, they have given Shane the Harrod. It's going to be deadly. He's going to take on legendaries on legendaries.
Exactly so. And honestly speaking, we did see a Hylos pick a little here and there, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, it is going to be Visal on the Hylos, like I called it. And for the side of Untitled, obviously Joker on the Jawhead and Kaimku on that Suyo. Definitely good draft coming in from the side of UT. And to top it off, the mage pick for the side of Rayuga is going to be a Jokshin. So two very, very strong draft with Rayuga having the upper hand for the crowd control, while Untitled having more of the damage output. This is going to be a match worth it.
Definitely, one side prioritizing over a team fights and another on the single man pick of Untitled have been, showing those kind of gameplay right from the day number one. The day that they just entered the wildcard stages right there, they did make their presence quite strong with the Jawhead, making sure that it does become a signature pick for them. Once again, on to the game number one, we are looking at it, but I'm curious to know how they will be working around it, given the fact that it's quite a lot to take in with the Zushin being there as of now. Because from the previous few games, somewhere we have seen that the Jawhead sometimes did get a pathway to jump in very quickly, get a ejector on, but this time around, that's going to be quite tricky.
Exactly, that is what it is all going to be dependent on that mid lane sync between the Joker and Daki, which they have already established in the number of matches they have played so far. Again, Askiel and Rocco on towards the mid. It's going to be a mid versus mid, honestly, this match. And because
Yes.
the goal lane matchup, Shane is gonna win it with the Harith, at least in the early game. In the late game, though, it is going to be dependent fully on the Kimi's ultimate. So we will have to see how this match plays out for the both of them. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the land of Dawn.
Let's go. Game number one, Untitled versus Rayuga Esports. Let's see if they're able to get a game on, or maybe another clean sweep onto the hands of Team Rayuga Esports. The stakes are high for gathering as much as points possible. But into the middle lane, I wanted to see a little bit of an ejector play coming in very early on, but they're just like playing it slow.
Yes, they don't want that risk being taken in the early game. And look at that, two purifies coming in from the side of Rayuga and two revitalizes. That's going to be a lot of heal. And the purifies are definitely targeted towards Joker, so he can't eject anyone properly. But then again, it is Joker on the Jawhead, so we will have to see what goes down in this match. At the moment, as you can see, Rustin trying to freeze down the lane, but on towards the mid side.
Oh, look at that. First blood already coming in. That's a quite a early on. And Untitled taking down first blood as early as this. I think they will be rolling the snowball onto their hands.
Exactly. That early snowball is definitely going to be there, especially because of Valentina's taunt. I mean, the Terrify as well as Suyo's Blade Surge. So it is going to deal quite a lot of damage on towards the mid. And now that the first turtle is up, we can see the Chocolate-chan. He does have a bit of a level advantage on Kaimku. But then again, which team is going to take down the turtle, PG? We are beginning right away with it.
Oh, you're gonna see a fight, Vishal, with the glorious pathway. Look at them zoning members out, but Nissan doing the same. Joker, he did not get a pathway to go in, but Kaimiko gets zoned out. Oh, walls coming in with the AOG dropping in. That would be the death for Nissan going in. But wait a minute, they doesn't ends there. Joker with the flicker. He moves backwards, but Ezekiel, look at him. He gets that. Lucas is all alone though. Look at that. Chocolate Chan does gets the kill, and at the same time, Daki has to go back.
Exactly, not the best of trades right there because Rayuga does have that early brawl strength and they definitely used to their advantage. But
Oh,
look at that Shane being forced to flicker out of that situation and the constant pull coming in from Azkiel. But on towards the EXP lane though, but then getting a solo kill onto the high loss, that is something totally uncalled for.
crazy. That is definitely crazy coming in onto the EXP lane. And top of that, I did notice how Team Untitled had to spend a lot of resources just for one turtle. Now that is definitely a costly one given the fact that they did not won the trade. So again, they gotta get it a little bit of a slow game for themselves, making sure that they pick it up right from the mid to the late game. Let's see if they're able to get it or not. But at the same time, Rayuga Esports, they will be pressing their advantages in.
Exactly. And at the moment, even though the goal lead is practically the same for both of these teams, Team Rayuga does seem to have a little bit advantage over the map since their rotation is just a tad bit faster as compared to that of Untitled. Look at Joker though trying to get the ejector onto someone, but Rustin with that constant poke onto the Harith as well as the Jawhead is definitely going to be making a difference. Nishchan rotating all the way from the bottom lane
So
up to the top, looking for a setup, but look at that. They are definitely going in.
let's go. Fight coming in. Joker gets poked out. Nishan with a perfect set as once again. Look at him zoning out. But Shane, though, he's taking in too much damage as he picks up the kill. That was with the Kimmy doing its God's work, making sure they get the as much as damage possible onto the battlefield. But the AOG dropping in makes sure that they will be displaced. A little bit of a late AOG, but Turtle is here, though.
Obviously so, and the Lucas did look for the poke onto Daki, and she definitely took in quite a lot of damage. Neither did she have an ultimate onto that top fight, otherwise things could have definitely turned around. But look at the invade coming in, PG.
Joker. Once more. Joker once more getting zoned out. That's another stun for him. And he will be made sure that he will be sent back to the heaven. No mercy for him. And with that, let me introduce you to Ray. Hello, Ray. Welcome to the game number one. How are you doing?
Thank you for covering it up, Peachy. I can always rely on you, and I really apologize. Had some issues, and I had to catch this train from a different one. But I'm glad to be joining back, and I missed out on some action. But at least I'm here for Untitled versus Rayuga Esports. But anyways, Sarah, it's all, of course, Peachy. Thank you for covering, and let's see how the game is going so far. Looks like Rayuga is leading quite a bit, isn't it, Sarah?
Exactly that they are. They are controlling the map really well, and as well as protecting the Kimmy from taking in too much of damage, while also dealing a damage lot herself. But then again, as we can see on towards the mid, I do think a team fight might just break out as they attempt to take down the mid tier one. Look at the blade surge coming in, but Kaimku will have to run away. does not bait the Purify out of Kimmy though, but definitely uses up the Glorious Pathway but onto the top side. Chocolate Chan doing what he does best, goes in for the split. AOG comes in, Vissal catching two in the middle of it, gets the taunt, but then again, Team Chocolate Chan and Team Rayuga Esports definitely get those kills which they needed so desperately. Naki here going to be left all alone to defend the mid tier 1. I don't think she's going to be up for it though. Yep, definitely going to be playing it safe by recalling back to base.
So far, though, the score has been 3-9, and we're seeing a goal lead. I know not much goal lead actually. It has been quite similar on both ends. So kudos to Untitled despite the score disparity, and also look at the amount of turrets being lost out here. Like they are basically losing the map as we speak, because look at it, it's turning red right now. Mid tier 2 and bottom tier 2 are the only ones standing. Top inhibitor already getting exposed, which is not a good not a good state to be in. So we're probably going to be seeing, okay, they're contested lord, so sorry, the turtle, so they will extend the game a little bit, but bottom lane looks like they want to go in for a skirmish perhaps. Bottom lane.
As we can see Kaimko getting the kill onto Vissal there. Kimmy being able to escape with just 1 HP. Daki having to use up the Untamed the Beast for herself, did get the advantage in this map. We'll have to recall a little bit back in safety though. Rocco going for the chase, but then again, Team Rayuga still has the lead in their favor. I can't really predict the goal difference here, but then again, the stream, it seems to be quite well in favor of Team Rayuga. But Kimmy's ult landing perfectly, and even Joker getting knocked up. But look at the Badang going in for the backlane chain, now dealing quite a lot of damage. AOG comes in from Daki, not Vissal this time, and Team Untitled seems to be right back on track.
Getting 2 trades for none. Untitled, I mean, they're a team that has shown quite a bit of prowess, right, against Eternity, and they're really showing it against Rayuga back again. And I would love to see, of course, a bounce back, but the score sits at 6-9 as we proceed with the game. Okay, 4 turrets, right? 4 turrets taken, 0 on the hands of Untitled. So they need to level up their turret game, but how can they do it? Especially with the Gatot as well as Hylos covering most of the map. And of course, they have my wife Zushin. How do they give out the Zushin? Come on, guys, Untitled. You can't be making this mistake. But, oh, I just realized it's a Kimi goal lane. Oh, look at that.
Okay, we can see Nishchan getting taken down right away by Chocolate Chan, and he gets the triple onto the back line. I mean, it's a double, but then again, he started off with Nishchan right there, so it's a triple for him. And Team Rayuga just completely dominating with the amount of damage that they are dealing, because Rocco and Vissal on the front line doing absolutely God's work in getting the setups for Rustin as well as Chocolate Chan, and they are simply backing them up so well. That is why Team Rayuga seems to be dominating this game so well.
Absolutely. I mean, they took a trade for 2 from the hands of Untitled, right? And then Rayuga was like, let us make it 3. And they took down 3 for none. And right now, the Madara has spawned in and they can just immediately get it. And looking at the pace of the game, all inhibitors already being lost. They're basically vulnerable. The mid turret doesn't even have the shield anymore. It's not even been 12 minutes. So that's a very huge loss that they have taken. They have to put in all the efforts to defend it. But Daki here can only obviously copy the ultimate of Chocolate Chan or at most Vishal. I wouldn't recommend the AOG. Maybe for zone out. Maybe for zone out. It would work on this lord, because you obviously don't want to get CC'd, because they do have good amount of damage. Shane, I would love to see the builds as well as we wait for the lord. I think he has 2 items at least. On the other hand, though, I'm really curious about Kimi's itemization. Like, I think, like, some people like to go for a classic burst build. Okay, there we go. Okay, classic burst build. And Harris building towards the Holy Crystal as well. Still missing 1 more recipe item to build it up fully, so it's going to take some time. Lucas here with the Winter Crown, so expect some freeze gameplay coming in from, of course, Chocolate Chan. It's going to come in soon. Lord marching down from mid lane. Let's see if they can defend it.
Exactly. So the Lord is going to be smashing right onto that turret, and obviously they might just get it. But Joker though tried the ejector play onto the Jukshin, who had the lantern flare to just escape right away with it. Kimi with that constant poke, and Shan isn't just able to stand right in front. Daki having used up Untamed the Beast. AOG right onto the back line, doesn't really catch anyone, but does get the taunt onto Shane. Shane trying to go in with his
The
command
base
force,
is
trying to
gone.
do damage with Chocolate Chan on the mission. Gets the base for Team Rayuga Esports.
The win was so overwhelming, even the scoreboard was glitching out at the top. Jokes aside, Rayuga gets, I would say, quite of overwhelming win over. Let's see it. I think we can head to the game number two. What do you think, Peachy?
Yep, I think so. And with that, we can definitely see that Team Rayuga was dominating all the way in this match, and Team Untitled did try to keep up with it. And now we'll see them try to play it even better. So, on to match number two.
Absolutely. And